Hi, I'm Tim Scott. Today we are going to talk about positive psychology. I'm going to review a couple of videos that deal with positive psychology. The first video is called The Secret. The main idea of The Secret is that you can positively think or will your way to happiness, prosperity, or success. I didn't feel like this video really had any believable scientific claims. It basically throughout the whole video refers to successful or famous people throughout history and says that they basically knew the secret. I didn't feel like there were any actual studies that supported the claims in this video, The Secret. The presenters, the people that they interviewed throughout the video, were theologians, philosophers, visionaries, authors, writers, and I think they may have had a therapist in the mix of people that they talked to or interviewed. There was a lot of action. The video was very high-paced, very just real action-oriented to try and get you kind of into the hype and the appeal and to appeal to your desires to be successful and prosperous. But the video itself really felt more like a sales pitch or an infomercial and not so much of a scientific claim. I also didn't feel like the video gave you any directions on how the secret itself worked, how to make it work, and didn't really give you any supporting arguments on confirming what their hypothesis was. The second video that we will discuss is called The New Era of Positive Psychology, and the person that presented this video is Martin Seligman. He's an actual psychologist. He went into a little bit of the history of psychology and how traditionally psychology has dealt with the negative side of psychology as far as disease and disorder, and how the positive side of psychology has been largely ignored through most of the history of psychology until in the last 10 to 15 to 20 years. He cited actual studies, and not only the studies but the results of the studies, and he also gave the names of the people that conducted the studies. So there was actual research that was involved in this movie or in this video, and it gave you the ability to actually go and confirm and research those studies for yourself to back up his claims. I basically felt like the second video with Martin Seligman was the most believable scientifically and psychology-wise. I felt it was most scientifically sound, and it wasn't presented as an infomercial. It was presented as results from a study, giving history on the background of positive psychology. It didn't feel like they were trying to sell you any kind of a product or a service. And it was actually the setting or the surrounding was an actual seminar for psychologists, for psychology professionals, and not presented in a manner as an infomercial. In my job that I have, there are daily stresses. I work in a hospital and I do staffing for the better part of my job. You'll have multiple phone calls with people asking for things, people calling out sick, supervisors asking for more staff. There are deadlines that you have, time crunches where you're trying to complete tasks on a certain time, and there are oftentimes competing priorities. So you have to choose between taking care of the needs for one department over another department. And we go through times when we have staffing shortages, so we're constantly trying to find people to work. The way that I deal with stress, my experience is in dealing with stress is that there's several ways that do work. Those include relaxation techniques, as far as deep rhythmic breathing, taking breaks, and actually discussing or talking with people about the issues, things that create stress for you, actually discussing those, which gives you some relief from the stress. The things that I have, the techniques that I have found that do not work for stress are just ignoring the stress, pretending like it's not there, developing a posture where you're tensed up, which just increases the stress, actually builds more stress in your body, getting upset, lashing out at people, and the worst one is just keeping it in, just not doing anything productive or positive to try and release or remove or deal with the stress. I find that one is probably one of the worst, if not the worst. So that is basically the discussion that I have that deals with positive psychology and stress, and I hope that you've learned something from that today. Thank you.